Have you ever noticed that the moment your income increases, your life somehow becomes just as expensive? Not dramatically, not all at once, just quietly. A slightly better apartment, a newer car, more dinners out, subscriptions you don't even think about anymore. And somehow, despite earning more than you did a year ago, your bank account feels exactly the same. Or worse. Let's take a very normal, very realistic example. Imagine someone in the United States earning $75,000 a year. After taxes, they're bringing home roughly $4,500 a month. Not rich, but solidly comfortable. The kind of income that should, at least on paper, allow for saving and stability. Now look at where the money goes. Rent, $1,800. Car payment, $450. Insurance, utilities, groceries, another $1,200. Student loan, $300. Subscriptions, dining out, small lifestyle upgrades, easily $600 to $800. By the end of the month, there's very little left, maybe a few $100s, sometimes less. Now here's where it gets interesting. A year earlier, that same person was earning $55,000. Their apartment was smaller, their car was older, they cooked more often, and yet they somehow had a similar amount left at the end of each month. So what changed? This is the quiet trap of lifestyle inflation. It doesn't feel like a mistake because nothing you're doing looks irresponsible. You're not gambling money away. You're not making reckless decisions. You're just upgrading your life in ways that feel reasonable. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Because lifestyle inflation doesn't show up as a bad decision. It shows up as a reward. You worked harder, you got promoted, you deserve a better place, a more reliable car, a bit more convenience in your day-to-day life. Individually, each decision makes sense, but collectively, they reshape your financial reality. Let's look at the math in a very simple way. If your income increases by $1,500 a month after taxes, but your expenses increase by $1,200, you haven't really improved your financial position. You've just increased the cost of maintaining your life. Now imagine that pattern repeating every few years. Your salary grows, your lifestyle grows with it, and the gap between what you earn and what you keep stays small. Over time, this creates something most people don't expect: a high-income, low-flexibility life. On the surface, everything looks successful. Nice apartment, decent car, regular vacations. But underneath, there's very little margin, very little room to step back, take risks, or handle unexpected setbacks. And this isn't just a math problem, it's a psychological one. Because humans are incredibly good at adapting. What once felt like a luxury quickly becomes normal. The nicer apartment stops feeling special after a few months. The new car becomes just your car. The upgraded lifestyle becomes your baseline. And once something becomes your baseline, it's very hard to go backwards. This is known as hedonic adaptation, but you don't need the term to understand the feeling. It's the reason a $3 coffee feels optional until it becomes a daily habit. Then it feels necessary. It's the reason upgrading your lifestyle feels good in the moment, but rarely changes your long-term sense of financial security. There's also another layer to this: social comparison. In both the United States and Europe, your lifestyle is often shaped not just by what you earn, but what the people around you are doing. Colleagues upgrading apartments, friends financing newer cars, social media showing curated versions of normal life that are actually quite expensive to maintain. You're not trying to impress anyone, but you are quietly trying to keep up with a standard that keeps moving. And because everything is financed, cars, furniture, even vacations, the cost doesn't feel immediate. It gets broken into manageable monthly payments, $200 here, $300 there. Individually small, collectively significant. Now let's extend this over time. If someone spends an extra $1,000 a month due to lifestyle inflation, that's $12,000 a year. Over 10 years, that's $120,000. And that's before considering what that money could have become if it had been saved or invested. At a modest 7% annual return, that $1,000 monthly difference could grow to over $170,000 in a decade, not because of some aggressive strategy, just because of consistency and time. So the real cost of lifestyle inflation isn't just what you spend, it's what you no longer have the ability to build. And this is where the shift in perspective happens.
Financially intelligent people don't necessarily earn dramatically more than everyone else, but they tend to think differently about increases in income. Instead of asking, "What can I upgrade?" they quietly ask, "What can I keep the same?" Not forever, not in a restrictive way, but deliberately. They understand that every fixed expense you add to your life becomes a commitment your future self has to maintain. A bigger apartment doesn't just cost more this month, it raises the baseline for every month after that. A financed car doesn't just affect your budget, it reduces your flexibility.
And flexibility, more than income, is what creates long-term financial stability. So rather than expanding their lifestyle to match every income increase, they allow a gap to form. Income rises, expenses rise a little, but not at the same pace. That gap, quiet, often invisible, is where financial progress actually happens. It's not exciting, it doesn't show up on social media, it doesn't feel like a reward. But over time, it creates something far more valuable than upgrades. It creates options. The option to walk away from a job that no longer fits. The option to handle emergencies without stress. The option to invest, not because you have to, but because you can. And perhaps most importantly, the option to slow down. Lifestyle inflation, on the other hand, does the opposite. It trades long-term options for short-term comfort, not in a dramatic way, just gradually, quietly. And that's why most people never really notice it. They just feel like they should be doing better given how much they earn. But the issue isn't always income. Sometimes it's the silent agreement we make with ourselves that every raise deserves a matching upgrade. Once you start seeing that pattern, you don't necessarily need extreme changes. You just need awareness. Because the goal isn't to avoid spending, it's to understand the difference between improving your life and simply increasing the cost of it. If this gave you a clearer way to think about your money, consider subscribing.